Doing good. Well, in reviewing the game, I think we showed, elements of Alabama football in terms of how physical we were, the toughness we played with, the intensity that we had. And for the most part, the discipline to execute was pretty good, especially early in the game. I think we need to get more players to, be able to go and do those things in game situations and play winning football. But, the key is the measure of a team is what is your growth between, week one and week two. Even though you had a pretty good start, can you build on that and make progress for the future? Because we're going to, need to do that playing against really good opponent this week. Texas has, Sark's done a really good job there, very good offensive coach. They've got a great system and scheme on offense. They've got some really good players on offense. B. Robinson is an outstanding running back. Worthy is a great receiver. Ewers is a very good quarterback, great arm, very talented guy. They've got 7 starters back on defense. Played much better last week on defense than maybe some of the times last year when people scored points on them. So this is a very improved defensive team to me. They do a really good job on special teams. Play with great effort. Blocked a punt last week. Make plays, and Worthy's been a really good punt returner. He's having 15 yards or something a punt return. So they've got a lot of good players. They've got really good schemes, and it's going to be a very challenging game for us.
What are some of the communication challenges that come with playing on the road and a lot of crowd noise, and what's the best way to prepare for those in practice?
Well, it's the same that we've always done. I mean, we try to go on silent sometimes. We try to go on a clap sometimes. Can't really use a cadence in those kind of situations. So that's what you practice. We usually have some noise practices when we're playing on the road, which we will at some point in time this week, later in the week. But it's always a challenge, especially on offense. So, for defensive players, maybe not as much, but sometimes for defensive players, it's tougher at home because the crowd's yelling when the other team has the ball. So, but this is a very challenging thing that we've always had to work on hard in the past, and we'll continue to do it this week.
Yeah, what would you say when you assessed the tape of the running game? What did you see from that group?
Inconsistent. Like I said after the game, it was big little. We made a couple really explosive plays in the running game, but the down in and down out consistency to have positive runs and not have negative plays was not what we want it to be, and something that we want to improve on. But wasn't disappointed at all in the way we played. They did a lot of stunting and moving up front, which we sort of expected. We didn't always pick it up exactly right, and sometimes they were able to create some negative plays with it. So definitely need to work on those things, this week.
You mentioned Bijan Robinson, their running back. Just what stands out to you about him, not only as a runner, but as a receiver too?
He's can do everything. He's got speed. He's got power. He's got very instinctive runner. Sets up his blockers well. Has a burst, and he's got great hands. Good receiver. They use him a lot in the passing game. So this guy is as good an all-around back as there probably is in the country, or he's certainly one of the best of all the guys in the country. And his production really sort of, shows that.
Coach, every preparation is different for each game, but an 11 o'clock kick against a coach that knows a defense like yours well, how do you adjust to that going into this week?
Well, we've seemed to play several teams now that kind of know us, but you act like we don't know them. So just because somebody knows you when they play you doesn't mean they're going to beat you. And just because you know them when you play them doesn't mean you're going to beat them either. It kind of comes down to how you execute. But, to think we're going to go change a lot of things that we do, that our players know how to do, that they do well, that they have confidence in, I don't think that's the answer when it comes to getting execution and having confidence in how you have to adjust and what you need to do.
Coach, you talk about Bijan Robinson being a threat receiving out the backfield, but just also for your backs with Jace having so many receiving touchdowns, how does that elevate a running back's game and the offense as a whole when a running back's a threat to catch as well?
Well, I think that's what every offensive, coach wants. You got 5 eligible receivers. You want them to have to defend, all 5 guys. And I think tight ends and running backs are mismatched players because of the guys who end up guarding them most of the time. So when you have a guy that's outstanding that create those mismatches, that's a real advantage for you. So I think that's probably the greatest advantage of having, a running back or running backs who are really good receivers and understand the passing game and can be used as, targets in a lot of ways that puts a lot of pressure on the defense.
What is it that makes Coach Sarkisian a good play caller?
Well, I think he's a very bright guy. He's very well organized, did an outstanding job when he was here. He's got a good system. He understands defense. He likes to see what you're in if he can, so that he can, run a play that's going to be an effective play against that particular look or give his players the best chance to be successful. And I think all those things and a combination of those things and good preparation, make you a very, very good play caller. So he has a really good understanding of defense. He has a really good understanding of what he wants to do on offense against certain things on defense. And he tries to implement those in the game, whether it's formationally, using motions, adjustments, eye candy, whatever you want to call it, to sort of get the look that he'd like to have and then run that particular play against it.
Jalen Moody's a guy that's been here a long time, but him getting this opportunity at linebacker, where has he grown and doing just the little things right consistently?
Well, I think that's the key to the drill is, a lot of players want to make plays, but they don't understand that systematically you have to do your job relative to what's required on that particular play and that particular defense. And that will actually enhance your chances of making plays. And when players understand that, then we can play much better team defense because you got everybody in the right places. The term I like to use is nobody here needs to farm somebody else's land. So if you just do your job, then we got a chance to be successful but when one guy is trying to do something he's not supposed to do, that opens up an area that offers an opportunity for the other team to make plays.
You talk a lot about affecting the quarterback, and it might not mean getting sacks. How do you feel like your pass rush performed against Utah State despite not recording a sack?
Well, I don't know if you can really assess the pass rush against Utah State because they threw the ball and got the ball out so quick, you didn't have a chance to get pass rush. But I do think we affected the quarterback in the game, pushing the pocket. We had some free runners, in his face, which affected his throws. But typical drop back, hold the ball, see it develop, and throw it. They didn't do much of that. All right. So the ball was catch and throw all the time. So we didn't have a lot of opportunity to get the proverbial sack, but I do think we affected the quarterback pretty well in the game.
From a recruiting standpoint, obviously you guys have spent time in College Station, but what are some of the advantages and the opportunities to now play a game in Austin in front of that community and that fan base from a recruiting standpoint?
I think that anytime you get exposure in an area, it obviously helps, recruiting. So it doesn't matter where you play, whether we play in Atlanta or whether we play somewhere in Texas. I think that exposure makes, people in that area more aware of your program, who you are, players on your team. So I do think those things have an impact in recruiting. And, it's a great opportunity for us to have a chance to play a school like Texas, who's got great tradition, and they got a really good team.
Got 2 more games. Trayshawn Holden was named one of the players of the week. Just talk to me a little bit about his performance on Saturday.
Trayshawn's had a really good camp. Played really well in the game. He's playing fast. One of the things that Trayshawn has gotten so much better at is controlling his emotions and staying in the right place where he can play fast and not get frustrated and not cut things short or not do things the right way. I think he's learned through his maturity that by doing things the way the quarterback expects him to do it, the way it's designed, that enhances him the best chance to make plays and be successful. He's playing fast. He's very physical. He's got strong hands. So all those things benefited him in this game, I think, in a very positive way. And he had a really, really positive performance.
Okay, we'll go to Zoom. John Zener. John, go ahead and
Yes, Coach. You mentioned Quinn Ewers a little bit. I know you don't have a vast amount of film on him, but what has stood out from what you have seen of their quarterback?
Well, he's a very very, very talented passer. He's got a good feel for the game, but he's got a strong arm. I think he threw a ball like 55 yards, pretty much on the money in the last game, and and I know that's probably his first game, playing, but I thought he played extremely well in the game. And I'm sure that he's going to continue to make progress because he has a tremendous amount of talent. So this guy's a really, really good player. And, we're going to have to do a great job of sort of hopefully disguising what we do a little bit. So he has to figure it out after he gets the ball in his hand. But he's got the talent to make the plays when he knows where to go with it. That's for sure. All right. Thank you.